going on? Man, I'm cracking up about the sound of the word geopolitical. I mean, that sounds so like aficionado. I mean, to me, for some reason, like if you say, "Yeah, I'm a geopolitical analyst," that sounds like so official. That sounds like high level, uh, high level media mafia type uh title. You know what I'm saying? Prestige. Uh, but yeah, geopolitical. It's funny because I just used that term the other day in one of my it just popped out of nowhere too. It was in one of my videos as in the tags on YouTube. I mean, because you try to figure out like words, you know what I'm saying, that you can stick into your videos, so like it has more likelihood of popping up in search engines. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, you got to learn by trial and error with that, so you can get your geopolitical up. You know, I mean, I really do have a certain geopolitical understanding now, but you know, I mean, I bet you there's people out there that probably don't even know what Google or Google geopolitical, Google political science geopolitical might even mean. I mean, it's because people. I mean, it's like basically the real mindset of the present in geopoliticals is like, especially here in America, the geopolitical scene, like the, let's say, West Coast and East Coast, uh you know what I'm saying, border states, you know what I'm saying, that's how you divide it up on geopolitical, because geo refers to geography or geographical, uh and with when you fuse that word geo, it's a like it's a pretty fix, and then you add it to the word political. Political, you know, political means referring to, pertaining to politics. Politics change around the planet, but politics really don't change, and they never have throughout all history. It's all basically like, hey, y'all keep working, we got this. Us, the sacred ones, the sacred bloodlines, the descendants of the dragons, the sky gods, the snake, sun, serpent. We are destined to become gods and rule over these cattle. Without us, the cattle would just, there'd be no purpose for them. They were put here to serve us, the Talmudic secret double agent society. It's really cutthroat. I mean, that's that's my interpretation of the geopolitical scene. My interpretation of present geopolitical scene is like Revelations 9:11, Matthew 24, uh like Moses coming back to Egypt and saying, "Let my people go." Let me think of another situation. Daniel getting thrown in the lion's den, or you get and in the statue. The geopolitical scene is like Jesus getting strung up on a cross. Uh, People getting fed to lions and tigers and bears. Oh my! And I mean, actually, I shouldn't make jokes about things that are that serious right now. They're killing Christians all across the planet. I mean, that doesn't really sink in. We don't have to. I know that they're looking at us and plotting on us every day, every day. Like they've been plotting on us for hundreds of years, if not thousands. In all actuality, and people have always been getting persecuted, but for some reason, it's just like there's been a veil over our eyes, man. We've been deceived as well. The geopoliticals is rife with these occurrences. Uh, all throughout. There's, I mean, I don't even have to give you many too deep of an example. You should be able to just search it out. Here, I'll just throw a couple randoms out there. Holocaust, or since there's so much debate about Holocaust, let's say World War One and Two. Whole scope. Japan too. They did bad things too to people. Russia did bad things. America did bad things to people. We all, I guess, the whole world's guilty of the same sins, man. And there's the same symptom. Geopolitically, is this few people pimping on everyone else? You know, it's always been that way, and a lot of people benefit from that system because it's kind of like it's like it's like Mama Bird, basically, the Matrix, Egypt, bondage, slavery. They eat everything and they regurgitate out what they feel like with it, until you stop chirping. And they keep cutting back and cutting back and cutting back until they can get you to stop chirping with less and less until you're weaned from that. But then in this situation, geopolitically, they've trained that bird to go out now and regurgitate all of its stuff and only leave that littlest amount for it back into the beast, the serpent that eats its own tail. That's the geopolitical. It's the phoenix that rises from its own ashes. Is Isaiah 14. The serpent shall become a flying serpent, and that's from its fruit shall become a fiery flying serpent. The same thing. Uh, the plumed serpent, serpentine divinities often are shown with feathers, like the feathered serpent or Amaraku, the land of the plumed serpent. Which that kind of might make sense because it's just like over here in America. You got all these Indians. Where did they learn that custom of all this headdress with all these feathers sticking out? Was it like basically showing some kind of like same type of thing? It's kind of like it's like army, you know what I'm saying, or military. When you look at them and they're dressed in like civil, not in civilian, but not combat clothes, but kind of like they're what they run around in, but they still in uniform. Like there's a distinguishable, like the higher up you go, the more ornamental and ceremonial and display-tory, like your prestige is you're wearing your honor on you. I mean, basically. So the Indians had this kind of like like the pharaohs had that snake on their forehead. These guys kind of showed their, you know what I'm saying, like something similar. There might be connection to that. There may not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure of the origins of every custom. You know what I'm saying? The knowledge isn't just easily, readily available. For one, it's been, for some reason, Indian knowledge has really been concealed and just, it's been almost extinct and exterminated. I mean, at least from my perspective, like mainstream wise. But you do meet random people who know a lot. See, that's the problem here these days. It's like, the devil's tricking us this way, geopolitically as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like either people are overly intellectual because they have to do all the thinking for everyone because most people don't do enough thinking. But it's equally a sin either way. You don't do enough. Or you think too much because out of kind of like some kind of feeling of compensation for the, you know what I'm saying, the other side of this equation here, when we all should just do our part and then it would release the burden from the people who have to think all the time out of desperation to, you got to rack your brain trying to get people to get this to sink in somehow, to get it to ring some bell, to deprogram people, to dehypnotize, to re-educate, but not in the sense that it's used in communism and fascism and Americanized corporatist, national socialistic, secret society ideologies, Talmudic, just straight up magician bamboozlery. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, this is like that. I mean, look, I just see example of it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and only a fool wouldn't recognize this pattern. And only I mean, you would have to be a fool to not see it once you saw it. You know what I'm saying? But because it's so prevalent, you know what I'm saying? And everything you look at, it's like, okay, I'm reading about these oppressors. Then you start looking at your life and you're like, wait a second. These people are acting like these people I'm reading about. What the hell? The fuck's... Wait, excuse my French, man. what's going on? What's really going on? You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, the house of cards crumbles. It's kind of like I heard this dude. His name's Fitness Shinobi, and he was like, "You got to stop looking at people like, they're difficult or they cause you problems." He's like, "You got to look at them like a challenge." And he goes, "You got to create this almost like an illusion, like there's something different than what they are to help you better deal with them." But I realized it's like, no, bro, it's not even like that. You're right, but look, really, what it is, we live in this lie. What you're talking about doing actually is seeing through the illusion and actually seeing what we're really supposed to do. But the way you worded it was, I mean, it works, but I mean, it's more, I think it applies even the way I said it as well. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate you bringing that to my attention because it didn't click to me right away. It was like a long time later. I'm like, and I mean, that's really what it is. It's kind of, I guess, this challenge keeps you going at the same time because if it wasn't for that, there's not much to motivate you. I mean, I guess uh, I mean, if you wanted to, you could use that hellfire approach. You know what I'm saying? But personally, uh, I, that's only one approach. You know what I'm saying? And it's not one I'm taking necessarily. You know what I'm saying? But it's more like, hey, you gotta. I mean, if you gotta love your brother in any way, it's better just to live that, or at least try to retrain yourself to be nicer when you can. If it's in your power to change these things, locally, domestically, or totally geopolitically, you know what I'm saying? Through this internet, yeah, we can bounce ideas around, like, you know what I'm saying, like ping pong, like volleyball. You know what I'm saying? Which is beautiful. For instance, like I don't, like who Shinobi Ninja. I don't even know who he is. He's a guy that dresses like a ninja and gives tips, and there are pretty helpful videos. So I mean, I don't know how he ended up in that. That's my geopolitical scene. Where's this ninja at? Where that ninja at? You know what I'm saying? And they're all over all over the earth. You know what I'm saying? And they're diverse in their ideologies or their belief systems, but a lot of this stuff is just really super common sense and practicality, and it's discipline. So this overlaps into many different fields, and everyone can benefit. You know what I'm saying? From learning, it's like Musashi says, the best swordsman ever, supposedly, allegedly, possibly. He said, "Should not the gentleman warrior have not a taste for the pen and the sword?" So I mean, this is another theme. You know what I'm saying? That it's like, though you're men, you also are men of thinking and a certain level of intelligence. Not You don't got to be Professor X. You know what I'm saying? You can just be just average Joe that uses his common sense, and you will seem like you are. You will appear greater than you may be, but I mean, it's great when people are just practical and courteous, and they're not just totally self-absorbed, selfish. Uh, Dog eat dog. I'm gonna cut your throat out and drink your blood to survive. Basically, I mean, even though it can come to that, but even gentlemen can take it to that point, and they don't go, into that territory, the the excessive, overboard, overkill territory. You know what I'm saying? So things to keep in mind there. That's on the and like I said, look, Musashi, man, he's totally geopolitical. I mean, if you never got a chance to sample a Book of Five Rings, it's worth giving a look. See, I mean, like I said, it's not a path to salvation. That's for sure. It's just a path to understanding things. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It's just another tool to understand things. But it's mostly worldly. But he talks about their understanding of and religion, even though I don't practice in it. You know what I'm saying? It's good to know what they think, so you know how it ties into the things that you believe. You know what I'm saying, and how they differ.